I'm a what?
I am the greatest.
Never tell me I'm the winner. I'm going to win.
Execute Order 66.
Way downtown. Bang! Bang!
Bang. We got the clap. We're golden.
Clap.
The 3 claps, now we don't know where we're at.
We'll figure
All
it out.
separate. We're supposed to all clap at the same
figure it
fucking
out in
time. You
editing.
fucking...
It's
Clap
okay.
at the same time. Let's see if we can do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, you counted. Well, of course we can clap at the same time. What the hell?
I guess really all you had to do is say 3.
Yeah, that wasn't.
All right, let's just okay.
We
We're just
got
gonna
the clap is done. We're done with the clap.
We got rid of the clap. It's going now.
prostitutes everywhere.
Easily curable with antibiotics. This is Fourth and Nerd. We are finally here after so many technical difficulties.
So many technical difficulties.
I had
Got
very
a lot
few.
of shit to talk about. Lot of fourth down shit to talk about. A lot of nerdy shit to talk about. That is the name. Fourth and Nerd. All right.
Fucking nailed it.
I nailed it.
Great intro. Great intro.
All right. Yeah, you can do it next time. But I thought it was pretty good.
No, not too bad. All right, let's dive in.
What do we have on the agenda, sir?
I think the first topic we're going to talk about is, in your opinion, do you think sports athletes are paid too much money?
Oh, hard-hitting questions already. All right. I mean, perspective. Paid too much money in what regard? I mean, back then, we're talking early Gladiator Dome stuff. They weren't getting paid nothing. You just got to live.
I mean, nowadays, you got, like, people like Joe Burrow, $250 million contract.
Yeah, but the guy also
He's also bringing in a shit ton of money.
Well,
He is bringing a shit ton of money.
Well,
in,
that's the
but don't
question,
get me wrong.
Dylan. Is it too much money?
Do you think it's worth it to pay one player $250 million for their career? That's just one contract.
If he's making them the money back, then yeah, fuck it.
I mean, that's not the question, but we'll take it. So what I was gonna say is, yes, he is getting probably an inflated amount of money because he's a quarterback. So
Exactly.
if you want to compare, quarterback to running back, obviously it's way too much money. But he literally just walked in, and the Bengals went from a laughingstock who just got rid of Andy Dalton to literally in the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, let me give you
Literally,
Let me give you
rookie
another
year,
example.
Super Bowl.
Let me give you another example. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just got a pretty decent pay grade to go to the Jets. Plays 3 minutes.
Well, yeah, he's old.
Gets hurt. Yeah, but so much of that
You
money.
knew the risk.
Yes, but so much of that money's guaranteed. He's getting paid
Obviously, but it's not guaranteed
that.
like
We're straying away from the
Deshaun
actual
Watson.
question. From the actual question, in your opinion, do you think they get paid too much money?
No, because of the revenue that football brings in across the board.
So you think their
I think-
entertainment value?
Exactly. It's the demand. People are willing to pay for it.
I mean, that's fair. They do bring. I mean, the NFL brings in so much money.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow's contract is a drop in the bucket overall.
That's fair.
Compared to what NFL actually brings in. If anything, everybody else needs to get paid similarly.
Oh,
The
yeah.
salary cap is the only problem.
Yeah. What about you, Dylan? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I make compelling arguments, okay?
I mean, I believe they are paid fairly for what they do, but at the same time,
It is a crazy amount of money.
it is so much money.
But there's one thing that'll give you that appreciation back is you saw the documentary, the QB documentary about Peyton Manning. Dylan, did you watch any of that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think so. you could be the fresh eyes to the documentary, and we'll explain it to you. So Peyton Manning, you know that guy, right?
Yeah.
So
Heard of English class.
I guess he just decided to take his chance at directing / producing. Can't say he did a bad job at all.
No,
It was
it
one
was
of the
really
best
good.
documentaries I've seen that like will actually let you watch their everyday life, but also just watching them on the field. Throws the ball, 3 seconds go by, boom, gets hit by a
Murder.
Mack truck. Like obviously we see it in the games, but to like get the mic'd up,
That
personal
perspective.
perspective of, oh yeah, I got rid of the ball, woo, boom, oh there goes my ribs, you know? Like
Well,
Kirk
that's the
Cousins.
other part that you don't realize, and that documentary shed some light on it, was the week in, week out struggles of that. I mean, you're getting 300-pound
Rehab.
linemen who
Rehab.
can bench 700 pounds,
At what, 37 years old? Whatever
cracking
Kirk
you
is.
in the ribs every weekend
Yeah.
after you've cracked them or hurt them in one way or another.
I'm still hurt from our turf. It's flag football. Like, when you're young, you don't really think about it, all those bumps and bruises, but shit, I'm getting up there now, so I feel it 10 times more than I used to. I know it's like the trade old thing for old people to say, is like, oh, I feel it way worse. I'm living it.
Oh, yeah.
My
But
ribs right here just from landing on the ball, I think. I don't know. I got knocked out. But,
yeah, well, that's a story for later.
yeah, we'll talk about that. My fingers, you know, just watching Kirk get hit. I was watching it on the airplane coming back from Texas, and it got my juices flowing just watching him get beat up.
I mean, it's definitely an inflated number, but I see why. I mean, they're taking punishment each week. Like I saw something that was like getting hit by an NFL linebacker is basically like the same force as getting hit by a car.
Well, not to mention, it's so demanding mentally.
Oh,
at any
yeah.
other position.
Like, you have to know all the plays, all the assignments.
I
There's no break.
I love football, but I can't stand watching film. Can't stand it.
I don't mind film.
I don't mind it to an extent, but to the level that an NFL quarterback has to watch it,
That's a little bit much.
yeah, I guess if you're getting paid millions in that regard, I could power through it, but it's exhausting.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you see the story about Baker Mayfield over the weekend?
I stopped paying attention to Baker, I'm not going to lie.
Well, I've always been sort of a Baker fan. But when they played the Vikings, was it the Vikings?
What team is he on
He's
now?
on the Bucks.
I think he was on the Panthers. That's right, he's on the Bucks.
think-
I told you, I stopped following.
I think it was the Vikings last week. He went into halftime, and since he had been watching so much film, he knew all their play calls by their hand signals.
Yeah, I mean that happens all the time. Look at John Gruden. I don't know if you know anything about that, but back in
Maybe
the
we
day,
shouldn't talk about John Gruden.
yeah, I wasn't talking about his email chain. Like, what the
Wait,
hell?
what the fuck? Wait, what's this about?
You know, not racial stuff. It was he got traded. They traded the coach from the Raiders to the Bucks. They traded John Gruden, and they ended up both in the Super Bowl. And he's like, I know every single play. I know all the players. I know what they're gonna do, and they annihilate.
I picked
them.
these people.
Like, people don't realize sometimes, like, you know, the casuals, which there's nothing wrong with. If you're casual, whatever. Everybody's casual about something. But what you don't get is how much scheme, preparation goes
Just
into
IQ.
this.
Just
yeah,
IQ of the game.
in general. I mean, that's why Bill Belichick's defense is so good. It's hard to figure out.
That's fair.
We're way off topic.
I think
I
we
don't
answered
know.
the question, though.
I wish just everybody in the NFL had enough to rehab their body every year. Some practice squad players are getting beat up by the first stringers. Probably don't have that kind of money.
Oh, no, they're probably scraping by just like
So I
everybody
think
else.
there's probably a more important question somewhere in there. But if you bring in the views, you deserve some of the money. And Joe Burrow took the Bengals from irrelevant and a laughingstock to a Super Bowl contender for the rest of his career.
That's fair.
And the revenue jump as a business from that, he's
Yeah, they
barely
went from a
getting-
non-existent team,
yeah.
championship-wise,
That owner's
to
bringing in so much money now.
potentially a champion every single
Just
season.
in Joe Burrow jerseys alone. I don't know
Oh, yeah,
what his
that's-
contract is.
I mean,
on
jerseys are outrageous as they are.
That. Yeah, I don't know what the contracts are on that for Joe or versus the owner or
I mean, he'll get
organization.
some percentage.
I'm sure it's split up. So, but just that alone has turned their revenue around, I'm sure. So, I don't think that's the right question to ask necessarily, but in short, no, I don't think it's too much.
I think that's fair.
I think running backs are disgracefully underpaid for how much they give.
Right. And I mean, they've been in the past few years making a target to make
Well,
more money.
That's what everybody wanted to do.
Run the ball.
Yeah, they just wanted the ball. They wanted to be the running back.
You want to score?
You get the ball like most of the time. You don't have to catch it or throw it. You just grab it and go. Sure, you took a beating along the way, but it was all the glory of being running back too.
There's
And
all
now
those good running backs back in the
and
day.
I guess that maybe that's what flooded the market. I don't know.
I mean, there is a lot of good running backs, but there's definitely some that should be paid more than others.
Well, I like what Etienne said. Etienne. No disrespect, but mispronouncing. I'm just stupid. But he said you just got to diversify your game. But even then, it's still criminally underpaid.
Right.
Because, I mean, look at Saquon. He can do all of it. He's still just got
He
a
still don't
one-year
have that
deal.
bag.
Yeah, and he had to settle on that, which I get.
I mean,
Still
the same
$11
thing
million
with
over
Dalvin
a
Cook.
year.
Dalvin Cook couldn't find a team. He's
Yeah.
been elite for the past. I mean, he's missed some games. I'll give you that.
And the Jets played that right.
But
It's from
when-
a business sense.
But when he's been in the game, he's been a game changer. He can catch. He can run.
oh, yeah.
He can
do it
block.
all.
He can do all of it. But
It's
he
just-
couldn't find a contract.
He's just 28 years old, and running back years is now considered 40 for a quarterback.
Of course, that's how it was in real life.
I mean, I still feel it just trying to go out there and play wide receiver and pick up ball. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm going to start degrading athletically, and I know it. But my IQ is
Also going down.
better than ever. Football-wise. Everything else may be going down, but football-wise, better than ever.
All right, let's move to the next topic.
What was
We're going to segue into. I think it's more nerdy stuff now, right?
Oh yeah, we're totally doing a whole gear shift here. So Star Wars trilogy, which is the best? I don't even feel like this is a fair question, but I know if some younger people ever watch this, they'll be mad at me. But it's not even close. The original trilogy is, if you're talking as far as like
God.
a
You can't be serious.
from a lore perspective, everything else is nothing without it.
It's the prequels, hands down.
I mean, if you want to talk graphics, sure.
Help me out here.
Well, I'm going prequels too, but I think it's just because you and I grew up.
Okay.
I mean, that is fair too.
I guess best trilogy in what regard? Because they both have different strengths.
I mean, yes, yours came first and built the lore,
It's literally the
but
foundation of
the
everything.
prequels expanded on it,
Yeah.
told the story of before,
Here's one
had better
thing.
graphics, had better lightsaber fights.
I agree with all that. So if we're going to talk about just like pure wow of the atmosphere and all that, obviously. But I'm a story building guy, like you know how I am with those weird RPG games. With their combat's not even important. It's just the dialogue and Knights of the Old Republic kind of style. That's to me that's what the original trilogy is. A Knights of the Old Republic game. And then you got the prequels, which is Star Killer, that video game. You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, and I see the comparison that you're making, but at the same time, I guess you're right. Where we grew up on them, that's way more iconic to me. Like I reference the prequels about 15 times more than I would the original trilogy.
I think the one thing we can all three agree on is the latest trilogy sucks.
Oh,
yeah. So we can all agree on. That's what I meant by the younger people mostly. Like if you're raised on today's Disney Channel Star Wars, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, they just had no direction.
It's just bad.
It just went in so many different places.
We could dive into that so much, but it's just plain bad. It's lazy.
Like, I wanted to cry when she was like, yep, I'm a Skywalker now. I was like, bitch, no, you're not. What do you mean?
Like, I love Rey as a character, but y'all butchered it.
I
don't know how else
I
to
don't.
put it.
Man.
It had so much potential. There's nothing wrong. There's always been strong female characters in Star
I
Wars.
don't mean
I don't
that.
fucking care
Well,
about
being
that.
sexist.
I'm not saying you guys are. I'm saying that's what the agenda almost feels like. With the new trilogy.
It was just, there were so many wasted potentially good characters. Like Finn could have been a great character.
The actor
he
said
didn't really
they
do
botched
shit.
it. The actor said they botched it. Like, they know. They're not dumb.
What was the pilot? Poe? He could have been really good. He didn't really do shit either. He was just like, yep, I'm here now. Let's fucking do this shit. And then,
he was supposed to be like a mild version of Han, I feel like, but
yeah,
they just
very Wish.com.
They didn't build anything. There was no arcs.
it was just bad.
It was like just throwing diversity in there for the sake of throwing it in there with no plan. That's what I meant is by the agenda. It feels like we're not expanding on Star Wars. We're trying to do culturally things.
Let's do our own thing and make sure it fits in today's standard.
Well, it's not even do our own thing because that would require originality and creativity. They literally just...
Damn, shots fired, man.
Look at the plot. It's a repeat.
And you do got a point, but...
Instead of a Death Star, they did a planet that's a Death Star. Like, there's no originality.
It was just bad. Let's just agree they are bad. I don't think we need to waste any more time on the sequels.
You got me all
Disney.
worked up now. See, I can't talk about the new trilogy without getting pissed off a little bit.
Which, Star Wars has been a big part of my life for a long time. But like Dylan said, growing up with it, I didn't like the originals as much because it just wasn't as captivating.
Well, they're not as flashy. They just didn't have the same technology.
I mean, when you're 8 or 9 years old and you're seeing lightsabers for the first time and it's Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting each other.
Yeah, you downgrade obviously.
The story of the prequels
when you
is
go
just
from
Anakin being a horny little bitch.
I mean, that's one thing I will say about George. His dialogue choices sometimes were very questionable.
Yeah, they should have just gave Hayden Christensen a little bit more free reign on that, and it probably would have.
Let him riz it up. He's got riz. Like, look at him.
I don't like sand.
You know what? I just don't like saying, all right, take me to bed.
Fucking fuck me right now on this sand.
I guess it is legit in the way that it's so cringy. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I was 15 and I was cringe with women sometimes. Like, obviously.
You were 15? Damn. I was like 8 or 9.
Well, I mean, I'm spitballing here. I'm not going for exact data. But he always, he's probably just an awkward teenager dealing with an older woman who's like, oh, that's cringe, but you still look good. I don't know.
Damn, I can't believe I just fucking said that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like sand. God, I'm dumb as shit.
I'm sure if we had every one of our Riz moments up on the big screen for everyone to watch, we would be frightened.
I don't think I've ever said I don't like sand.
No.
I've been pretty close.
You know what I don't like?
I don't think that
Strawberries.
I don't think that was a flirty moment when he said he didn't like sand. I think he was.
Did you see that man's eyes when he looked at her when he said that?
Don't take her to a fucking beach then.
I think he's just whiny.
We should take a picnic on.
I think Hayden captured the whininess of the teenage angst. Well,
yeah, but he also the badass part of Anakin. He captured that so well.
Yeah, but that also comes from like that emotional, immature part of you, if you know what I mean.
I know you watch Ahsoka. Did you see the clip from this week, the last episode, where he was walking through the smoke when he was fighting Ahsoka?
I haven't watched it. Don't ruin it for me.
Oh, it is the best thing that Star Wars has done.
I meant to watch it and I haven't.
It's not really. Do you want me to tell? I don't really want to.
No, don't ruin it for me. We'll cover it next episode.
Okay,
I'm
next
sure.
episode.
But up to that point, I have liked Ahsoka a lot.
It is really good.
It's Filoni.
The
right?
Disney shows are a lot better than the Disney movies.
Yeah, they lost me a little on Book of Boba.
I didn't watch Book of Boba.
It just turned into a little cliche.
I watched Obi-Wan and I watched some of The Mandalorian and I've been watching Ahsoka.
Obi-Wan has great moments, but it also is disappointing in so many different ways.
I mean, it's got Ewan McGregor. I mean...
I know.
That's enough. You can just put him on the show and I wouldn't care what he's doing after that.
Well, they also kind of...
Just talk to me.
I don't know. There's a lot of different things I could complain about with the Obi-Wan series.
I mean, it didn't really go too far. I'll give you that. Like, the story...
Well, a lot of it was just dumb.
I mean, yeah, it didn't develop.
He snuck into the Mustafar base, and his plan was to walk out with Leia under his cape, like they couldn't see a giant bulge out of his ass.
I don't know. It's fucking 10 out of 10
Sounds like
if you ask me.
I mean, it's Obi-Wan. It's got to be a great plan.
It's so Disney. It's bad. Like, it's so bad.
At least the fairy godmother didn't.
Excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, I think the next topic.
I think we'll
is
agree
also
to
Star
disagree on that one.
Agree to disagree on which one? Obi-Wan?
The prequels.
Oh.
The prequels are.
I don't have as much of a tiff about that because, like, the prequels have the best lightsaber battle
In all of them.
Of all time, really. It's got so many epic things about it. I'm not mad about that as much as just for you guys, obviously seeing that epic lightsaber battle stuff was like the first one. Like Darth Maul was probably your first lightsaber battle. Like that's hard to top. But when lightsabers weren't even a thing yet in the 90s, me growing up, I was kind of on the back end of my dad getting into it and all that, like those adults.
Right.
In the early 90s. And then I had the walkers that he would send me, the X-Wings, the Death Star replica, the Millennium Falcon. I'm playing with this stuff. And then I get to go see all the original trilogies. And yeah, the lightsaber parts are far and few in between, but that just like
they were awful.
Well, they're bad choreography.
They're just
obviously. But back then, that's just kind of what you had to deal with.
Like, they weren't even really sword fighting, and
well, they got away with it though because Vader and Obi-Wan are old as hell.
That's fair.
Palpatine's even older, and then Luke is a novice.
I mean, that's
so
fair.
It works.
I mean, they did get better as it went along.
Yeah,
like the
it works.
Lightsaber battle between Luke and Darth Vader was fairly decent.
Yeah, and that's just not why you love the original trilogy, though. It's
No.
the world building, the story building. Like, up to that point, I mean, I'm sure that story in some regards been told, but it was a pretty original trilogy story.
Right. Right. I mean, I don't hate the originals. I'm just saying, hands down, the prequels just had more going for them.
Well, yeah, for sure. But the Luke, I am your father moment, it's like those dialogue moments.
You can still say that about the prequels. But yeah, hello there.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a meme. That's
I
not
know,
like
but it's there would be people outside of Star Wars that know the hello there.
Yeah, but before that, the Luke, I am your father, the moment was so much more epic. The hello there's a subtle like ha, you know,
Yeah,
like,
but it's good.
But like the Luke, I have your father, like that was it.
I mean, yeah, we'll agree
It's
to
so
disagree.
much harder to have an epic moment just made out of dialogue than it is to have epic lightsaber battles. It's easier to do the action to make the film great.
I don't know about all that.
Maybe not in a physical sense of doing it, but I think
they had to bring like
in a
professional
creative sense.
fencers and stuff in to train Hayden before the Mustafar battle.
Oh, no, not taking any credit away from his performance doing it. I'm saying from a directive, creative standpoint, how hard is it to go down in history from a line you said versus an action battle? Like John Wick. After a while, it all starts to blend together.
I guess it depends on what the action battle is.
Yeah, I mean, the Mustafar
also the
lightsaber
line
battle
is.
is hard to beat.
I
not
mean,
gonna
like,
lie.
most people that like Star Wars are going to pick that as the best lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
But the lines are kind of up in the air. There's so many lines that are good from both.
Well, back to what we agree on. Are there any epic moments in the new trilogy?
Any epic moments?
Like you got Hello There, you've got Order 66, you've got Luke, I am your father. What can you even quote from the new one?
I can't quote anything.
That's all I can think of.
I can't quote any moments, but the part when Luke starts fighting that army before he disappears, that part was kind of cool.
But he's still just a hologram.
I mean,
I thought he was gonna
not-
say
I mean, that makes it
something
even
about Kylo
cooler
Kitchen,
at the same time.
It does, but I think what pissed me off was that world. You know what I'm talking about? Like the red.
Yeah, it was so
whatever that-
ugly looking.
Like you tried to make Hoth cool, but you made it worse.
They're like, make Hoth, but throw some red flowers.
And then
on
they
it.
beat them with speeders that can't even levitate.
It was weird, man.
It was like
Just the part. I'm not talking about everything else. I'm talking about the part with Luke Skywalker just coming out there like a badass, and then was like, "I'm
guess.
going to stop this shit."
But what is that? What do you say to reference that moment easily?
Luke Skywalker's a badass.
Exactly. But they also butchered Luke's character through the whole
Yeah,
trilogy.
that's fair.
So
I
it's
saw
like,
this thing the other day.
What can you take from it?
I know this is kind of off topic, but I saw this thing the other day. It was like a headcanon. You know what a headcanon is?
A what?
A head cannon. So a head cannon is like something. It's kind of like a fan made up version of what could have happened in a story.
Oh, yeah. Like, what if Yoda went to Mustafar and
Something like
Obi-Wan went to Palpatine?
So this head cannon was that when Luke crashed his ship on that planet with Yoda, that he actually died.
Luke died?
Luke died, and from that point on, he was a Force ghost.
Oh, so then just like everybody loses?
No. It's not that his physical body died, and his Force.
So as a Force ghost, Luke became a badass and just fucked.
So as a Force ghost,
yeah,
he
he
lost
like-
his fucking arm.
I don't know, man. It was a
I
cool head
don't
cannon.
like where this one's going already. I've seen a lot of those, but there's been a lot of
If I'm a
Force
ghost,
ghosts.
I'm not gonna let my own arm get lost.
And you can do that as a Force ghost. What the hell is Qui-Gon doing this whole damn time? You know what I mean? Like
He just cut in half over in the corner.
no, he's got a
They took
hole
my
in his
legs.
stomach. Darth Maul got cut in half. Let's get it right.
My bad.
But as I'm just saying, like a Force ghost could do anything.
That's fair.
The hell were y'all doing this whole time?
Maybe it's because he didn't realize he was a Force ghost.
The only argument I can
I mean,
see.
it's a head cannon.
The
It's not
only
like
argument I
fucking
could
serious.
see is that he's so potent in the Force, which would be untapped at this point. Let's get that straight. But he's so potent in the Force that he can do things that nobody else can. But
I think that's where they were leaning with.
I would still say you have to master the Force in real life before you're even good enough to do that. That would be my argument.
He just explodes. I'm a Force ghost now.
I mean,
Fucking Danny Phantom.
I don't know what direction they went with that video, but I'll poke holes in it all day long.
It's fucking worth it to bring it up.
Uh,
Where do you want to go
I
now?
do like those, though.
Dylan, you got anything you want to talk about? This is our guest for this week, Mr. Dylon Jackson.
I think we should talk about your great turf topic.
The turf topic?
Great turf. What the?
Okay, so I've been seeing it's been bouncing around a lot since last year, honestly, but it got brought up again after Aaron Rodgers' injury over the weekend. Was it over the weekend?
I know.
Do you think turf is a good alternative in professional sports? Football, soccer.
Hell no. It hurts so much.
I've played on turf a few times. I don't like it just from the fact that it can burn you so bad.
I mean, there's
Like,
a guy who was all-state linebacker on our team, and I just remember he was way better than me. Let's just be clear. So he was a 4-year varsity guy, and I think it was freshman year. We were in workouts, and he had this giant scab over his arm.
yeah.
And I was like, what happened? He's like, oh, just turf. And of course, me being worse, I was like, jeez, he shook it off, no problem. 3-4 years later, when I'm on varsity with him, still there's a scar. I was like, from turf?
Oh yeah, dude, it burns so bad.
It's terrible.
Like it would be like 85, 90 degrees, and you'd have people out there wearing long sleeves.
Not to mention,
Yeah.
you could see the heat coming off.
That
from
too.
the
I mean-
rubber. Oh my god.
I mean, you would just have people like fully suited up in long sleeves, compression pants, just so they wouldn't get that burn. It just, me and Dylan wrestled in high school, so it's like a mat burn, but worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's way worse.
like, it's like it burns deeper.
Not to mention, it's not like I'd rather hit my head off some cushiony grass. Cushiony. I'll put in quotes.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, that's a good one. Over some turf though, it's like bouncing off the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it's not protecting
I mean,
you.
there's been a call from a lot of NFL players. I mean, that was what Odell said cost his latest.
I don't know what the
ACL tear.
science is behind that. I'd have to honestly look more into it, but I did hear about it.
From what I looked up and read about it, is that the turf doesn't want to give as much as grass does.
Which makes sense.
Like when you push on grass, once you push so hard, the grass is going to come up. But with
Or go in.
turf,
Yeah.
it's not going to do that because it's made out of rubber, so it's just going to
Yeah.
squelch down.
You're-
So
you're
you're
going
gripping
nowhere.
harder and
You're
you're
going
staying right where you're at. So
There's
if you're
less-
trying to
yeah.
turn, then whatever it is you're turning is going to snap.
Yeah, it absorbs less of the shock, I would assume.
What do you think?
It makes
Dylan?
sense.
I fucking hate turf.
You ever played on turf?
Yeah.
You played
It's
soccer.
awful. Yeah, it's
Well, I
fucking
didn't
awful.
know I don't know what fields have turf around here.
I mean, we got.
Honecker had turf.
Honecker has turf?
Yeah.
We got
crazy.
turf while I was there, I think, or as I was going into the school. With shiny new field, everybody thinks is awesome until you play on it.
Oh yeah,
I never had
Like, it looked
anything-
fucking great.
Yeah, it's
it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Fucking terrible to play on.
But did you also see the thing? Was it the conference championship game where like everybody was making an uproar about it, how they wanted natural fields? Well, then they played on a natural field that was basically a swamp.
That was a Super Bowl.
Was it the Super Bowl? Was like that?
Yeah,
I
because
do
they played
remember
at
that.
the Cardinals field
Because
because
I
they kept growing. They would open the dome to grow the
I
grass.
remember seeing the pass rushers just sliding past Mahomes.
And they were all so mad because they're like, I've had to change cleats 3 times. None of them are digging into this. And they're like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a personal problem.
And
Figure it
the
out.
conspiracy theory is that the NFL intentionally let
Did
the
it so they would
conditions
do
get so
turf.
bad on the field, to make a compelling argument for the turf, which that sounds like a very billionaire thing.
It
to
does
do.
make sense.
Like it sounds like a very billionaire thing to do, and that's where I'll leave it because obviously I don't know.
I'd
But-
say turf is cheaper to maintain, but
Oh, absolutely.
As far as conspiracy theories goes, not the worst one I've ever
You paint
heard.
rubber every once,
Not the
like what,
worst.
3 months? You wouldn't have to paint the turf as much.
Yeah.
Like I
From a
mean,
business perspective, maintaining grass is probably harder, if I had to guess.
it kind of depends. I think grass looks prettier once you get it set up, but turf looks, I would say, cleaner
I was gonna
because
say,
it's like all the same
To a
level.
professional standpoint, you probably gotta, use some fertilizer, make it even,
Right.
it, all that. You get water in it, people play on it, all of a sudden it's all tore up.
Then your groundskeeper's pissed the fuck
Yeah.
off, wants
If
to
it
quit.
rains-
You got to hire someone else.
If it rains on turf, nothing happens. Maybe
Just
you put a
slide
little
everywhere.
rubber in there. I don't know. I don't know how you maintain
Throw
it.
some sand on it.
But all I know is
Cat litter.
I never really saw
Cat
anybody.
litter.
Never saw anybody maintaining our turf field too much.
That's fair.
Repainting it after somebody burned it.
But I will say this: you can do a lot more cool things with turf fields. Have you
Oh,
seen some of the high school turf fields they got now? I watched this. It was one of the, I can't remember what school it was, but it was some school in California. Their field, completely black, with white lines and red end zones. Look
that
clean.
sounds fucking awful.
It looked clean as hell.
It sounds hot as shit.
It does sound hot as shit.
Well, they're playing at night,
From a
so-
practicality point,
I mean,
practices must be
it
as
still
hell.
looked cool as shit.
Practice must be.
I doubt they're practicing on the turf
That's
field.
like a plus 15 degree on the heat index is what that is. What else do we got here? Chosen One, back to Star Wars again. I don't even know how we got back to football, but
That was Dylan wanting to talk about turf.
no, I don't think it was Dylan. But anyway,
It was Dylan.
was it?
You
Dylan?
deserve that flip off, honestly.
Okay, well,
I was trying to give Dylan some. I mean, I don't. You have anything you specifically want to talk? I mean, we have set topics that we talked about, but we don't have to go straight by those. We have time. We can talk about whatever.
Bouncing off you right now.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
yeah, man, he's a bouncer.
I'm a bouncer.
He's just bouncing.
You're the
bouncing
smallest
around.
bouncer I've ever seen.
That's your problem right there. That is your problem right there, mister. Chosen One, Anakin or Luke?
we talked about this.
We
the
did
other
talk
day.
about this, and it became a way more heated debate than I thought it was going to be because I was challenging if the topic was even worth bringing up. But obviously,
I mean, it made it through.
it stirred the pot.
So the topic is: do you think the Chosen One from the Star Wars series is Anakin Skywalker or Luke Skywalker?
And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter what you think because I know the answer.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from. Like we talked about the other day.
Hold
In
on,
the
hold on,
story,
hold on,
and
hold on.
George
Let him
Lucas-
answer. Let him answer.
Well, I mean, originally they say the chosen one's supposed to bring balance to the force.
Right.
Which would mean it's Luke.
That's what I argue too. But also, Anakin, they both brought balance to the Force. It was just
Well,
in two
yeah.
separate ways.
Yeah.
What's your definition of balanced? Is
That's
the problem.
okay. Yeah.
This was also what we brought up. Is balance numbers or is balance power?
If it's power, I don't think anybody ever brought balance, to be quite honest, because it's always one side in charge or the other.
I mean, if it is power, the closest that it's ever been is when Anakin got all the Jedi killed.
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah,
was
I mean,
so
it's the
few
closest.
Jedi and so few Sith at that time.
But still, the Jedi survived. Is
They still
my
survived.
problem with the numbers game. You know what I mean?
Right. And the Jedi survived, and
And if
then
you
Luke
want-
brings them back.
And if you want to talk about power, after Order 66, the Sith had way more power. Like, not
Exactly.
even close.
That's why it's.
Just in Palpatine alone.
I think it's Luke in the fact that he. Yes, it got the scale. He was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and he tipped it too far. He tipped the power scale too far towards the Sith because he killed too many of the Jedi.
Well, he definitely didn't have it in mind when he was doing any of that. Like, he wasn't thinking about bringing balance to the
Oh,
Force.
exactly. But what I'm saying is in the order of the prophecy, the chosen one's supposed to bring balance to the Force, is what it says.
I mean,
And they thought it was Anakin, but he ends up destroying pretty much all of the Jedi Order.
if I were to be in that realm, like in that lore, and guess, I'd probably just guess that the prophecy is just crap and shit. Like,
Just-
if I
it's a
was one
sham.
of the
Just throw that
Jedi,
shit out.
I'd probably be like, y'all are all caught up in the wrong things right now. We got a lot going on. But
Am I
what
remembering this wrong, or doesn't Vader end up killing Palpatine anyway?
Yeah, no, that's right.
That's right.
That's
So
right.
okay, it'd be Anakin then.
Well, but the thing is when he kills Palpatine, he shifts back to the light side. Is the theory?
So
Okay,
then
so
the
it's fucked. It's
it's
just
just
fucked. It's
fucked.
just
The
fucked.
Jedi's back in control. Until
But-
Kylo comes back around, which we're not even going to fucking talk about that shit. But
I don't even consider any of that canon. To be quite honest. I just disregard it as
it's a
existing
shit
law.
stain on the Star Wars
It's so
universe.
bad. I'm sorry to anyone who likes it.
I honestly don't know which one to pick. Anakin is probably my favorite character
Well-
in Star Wars, even though he is so whiny. I just like that he is badass at everything that he does. He's a great flyer. He's great at sword fighting.
Yeah.
He's a great general.
Literally the chosen one. That's why.
Is he though?
Yeah, because
Is he though?
because George Lucas said he was.
I
The
understand
guy
what
who
George
wrote
Lucas
the
said.
story
I understand.
Said Anakin.
This is the
chosen
only
one.
argument you have is that he
It's
said
the
it.
only argument I need. Look, he
That is
made
pretty
it.
fair.
Like,
I guess if the guy who made it was like, yeah, that's the dude, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's the dude.
that's what I'm saying.
We'll go with that.
I agree
But you
with
have to say that it does stir your mind.
the
in thinking
argument.
about
If
it.
we didn't ever get an answer, is compelling. I'm not gonna say it's not, but I know
We can
the
bring George on
answer.
here.
I know
George,
the
we
answer.
have a question.
I mean, shoot, maybe one day. What I aspire to do, sure.
Shit, we ain't getting George Lucas on
Hey, you
here.
never know. I mean, the way Disney's trashing his reputation, he might like us.
No.
No,
heard it
he,
here
he
first.
won't. But you know, I can
George
lie.
Lucas on
Lie.
4th and 3rd.
All right, rise of flag football as a sport. That's a little much.
Actually, it does sound like a little much. But did you know in like the past, I think it's been over the summer,
That's a weird segue, by the way. That was our next topic.
The Olympic Committee is considering putting flag football in the Olympics.
Okay, well, I guess it's not that dramatic. Because no, I did not know that.
I mean, around here, it's not that big. I mean, besides us putting on tournaments, you don't see too many people playing flag football. But across the country,
I mean, I
they
get
have
it.
teams, like high school
I
teams that
get
play.
it because it's all the awesomeness of football without the CTE. Like, I
I
get
mean, that's
it.
fair. And you also, another thing about it is, it's highly dominated by women.
Yeah, well, I mean, that
A
makes
lot
sense.
more women play flag
That
football.
makes sense. It's a no-contact version of football. They want to play football too.
Some of them are freaking
Oh.
nasty too. Like they do
the
some
UFC
jukes.
has proven there are some just scary women out there that you would not want to cross, and some of
Right.
those same women probably play this flag football.
Right, right. I know that they have like leagues technically for like they have like one sort of
He's using air quotes
in the
case
United
anyone was
States.
wondering.
We have video in the United States, and then there's one in Mexico. But I'm pretty sure that they were petitioning to add it in as an Olympic sport, and they're gonna have tryouts and stuff.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I mean,
it would definitely
we
be
have plenty
more
of fun doing it.
be more compelling than some of the stuff that's in the Olympics.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
What's that one where they ski and so far then they shoot shit and they ski some more? Have you seen that shit?
I know exactly
What's that
what you're
about?
talking
I'm not
about.
gonna lie, I'd watch that.
It looks like an ROTC.
Yeah.
rifle.
They're like, well, I'm just like, why am I
It doesn't
watching
look
this?
like it should actually shoot anything, but it does.
There's like, you know what? Ski this top of the mountain, shoot the target, ski back down. First one here wins. I'm just like, What the fuck is this?
It was probably pretty practical back in the day for those northern European countries.
Back in World War II when they were preparing to go back to
literally,
war.
That's what they used to do. They had skis, and they would just ski away from each other.
Sounds like a
and,
bad Call of Duty mission.
Sounds like an awful Call of Duty mission.
I think they had one kind of like that, but it was with like a jet ski.
Oh, the jet ski one's
Not a
good.
jet
Not
ski,
skis.
snowmobile.
Hauled right trigger to
Not
ski.
jet ski, snowmobile. Very different things.
But yeah,
It wasn't a bad.
I mean, it's definitely on the rise, and like just in our area, like we host tournaments here, and it seems like each time we get a little bit more involved with the community and get more people out. I mean, this time, how many teams did we end up with?
7.
7.
Oh.
I mean, that's. I mean, each team also had substitutes, so we're looking at like 40, 50 people
Yeah. It was
just
a good
coming
turnout.
out on a Saturday to play flag football.
Well, and the awesome part is the reach that it's had. Even before we had any sponsors or anything, I mean, the Kentucky team is a great example of it. Like, not only, we're in a pretty small community, so finding, people who are interested is just far
Right.
and few in between.
And then
But the fact that the
last
demand
one.
is there to reach all the way to Kentucky,
I mean, even the people we had. So in the last tournament, we had a team that came over from Kentucky, and one of those guys was from Cincinnati.
like, he lives there.
He told me he was from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Like, he flew in for the tournament.
I don't think he
I
fucking
find
flew.
that
Or was he
hard
born in Cincinnati,
That's what I
Ohio?
was going to say.
I don't know. He said,
I know motherfuckers from Michigan. Like,
It's a pretty important distinction.
I don't think
when
they're
we're talking
flying
about
into
he
this.
work
said he
every
was
day.
from Cincinnati. They all pointed and was like, "Yeah, this
I'm
dude's
from
Cincinnati."
Alaska. I didn't fly
I
into
don't
the tournament
fucking
from
know,
Alaska.
bro.
Jesse, thanks for flying in for this podcast. I'm fucking glad you're here.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's just what they told me.
Well, there's a
man.
difference.
You know what? Fuck both of you. Honestly, he's from Cincinnati, and it was pretty cool that we reached that far. Moving on, we're talking about the tournament. Let's talk about you getting knocked the fuck out. How about we talk about
I
that?
knew that was coming. I mean, I feel like you guys could talk to him better than I could. I was knocked out.
It was the best worst play I've ever seen in my entire
That
life.
sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
Best worst play. Yeah, no, that wraps
So,
me up pretty good.
I'll describe it a little bit. So, Jesse was playing safety.
I'll correct him if it sounds bad.
Oh, it's gonna sound bad. Jesse was playing safety, and I was playing corner, and I let the guy go past me, and I told Jesse back so he could pick him up.
Corner, weren't you?
I told Jesse back so he could pick him up. Jesse picked him up, and the quarterback tested and threw the ball. Well, he overthrew the receiver and Jesse.
I had a beeline for this thing. I remember
Jesse
that part.
turns on the turbos and then
I flipped
jumps
around and became the receiver.
and dove about, I don't know, he was like 3 or 4 foot in the air. Like he was up
If
there,
I don't think about jumping,
outstretched,
I can jump.
caught it in the basket, and as he was coming down, he didn't roll, he didn't brace, he
tried
didn't
Protect
to.
his
touch.
head in
I
any
tried.
way, shape, or form.
All I saw was wha-bam.
I had to have tried to roll. I had to have tried to roll.
You
because
didn't
my
try
knee-
shit.
You
just-
failed.
I failed for sure, but like I still have the scab from where my shoulder slid across the ground.
That was
And I-
after your head got done digging
Yeah.
into it.
That's what I'm saying though. I had to try to turn.
Scrape
as I
half your
hit.
face
But
off.
anyways,
Make sure
long
you're
story short, he smacked his head on the ground. So we all, I thought he had caught this ball.
Tua
Was a
moment.
crazy interception. I was like, oh, that was dope as shit. See the ball pop out when he hits the ground. So
It still hurts.
he was just laying there all crumpled up, and I walk over there. I was like, damn, either he's A, pissed off that he didn't drop the interception,
I wish that's all it
or
was.
B, he landed on the ball and got the wind knocked out of him. So me and one of my
See
teammates,
all of the above.
Nick, walk over there, and Nick's like, yeah, he's fine. He's got the wind knocked out of him. Picks his feet up, and I look over, and Jesse goes, what the fuck happened? I said, Nick, put his fucking legs down. He got knocked out.
I don't know what happened, but my fingers hurt after that.
They were all
bad.
curled up. You were like this.
These two.
Fucking looking up at the sky.
If I like grip something, I still feel it in these two fingers.
I said, are you good, man? You said, what the fuck happened?
I was out.
So I told Nick to put your legs down, and then here comes Dylan and Devin from the other side of the field, and I was like, oh, this can't be good because they can't be serious for shit. And Devin walks up and was like, don't worry. We've already gave him mouth-to-ass resuscitation. He's good.
Devin cracks me up, man.
And then you didn't get up for a second, and then he was like, oh, God, we killed Jesse. I was like, Devin, just go to the fucking sideline. You're fucking killing me, bro. Oh no, he was slightly concussed, but
It was moderate concussion. I'll give that much.
you came back.
I was there, like, mentally.
Not at first.
No, he's
Well,
gone for a while.
I came to.
I mean, Dylan asked you a stupid question.
I do remember the question. But I came to.
It was not a good question.
I
Not to
remember my
ask
eyes
somebody.
coming back, looking at the sideline. Like, I made it to the sideline, but I remember stumbling along the way, and Jared, who was our ref and also friend, was kind of helping me.
He was hover holding you.
Yeah, hover holding me.
He didn't want to get like a sex charge.
he didn't
Bloodborne
want.
pathogen.
He wanted to help me, but avoid all liabilities at
Yeah.
the same
He
time.
might have the clap or something now. Don't touch him.
But no, I mean, I got my feet back under me. Had a little play-by-play to figure out what exactly happened to me.
I mean, we still won that game.
Yeah, that's the part that surprised me the most, honestly, because I thought I lost us the game.
I
Turns
came-
out I
I-
didn't even need to try to catch that ball.
Came back and dominated after that. I mean, I had one of my better tournaments this time. I mean, last game wasn't that great.
I don't
but
remember what happened the rest of the game because I was so busy just...
that was when I had a deep ball to Devin, and then I had a touchdown to Dylan, which was an awfully thrown ball.
I
Dylan
felt-
made a great play on it, but
I felt great up until that point. For how out of shape and unprepared I was for that tournament, like, things were clicking.
oh yeah, everything. Our team in general was just clicking. We were just moving down the field like
Yeah.
it was nothing.
Which I loved because, you know, I felt like we had Nick last tournament, who's super athletic. But for some reason we just couldn't gel right.
Yeah, it was just like we just didn't have the mojo that time, and I was glad this time that we could.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like everybody got involved on offense. The only
Yeah.
problem was when defense came around,
We were exhausted.
we were just too tired.
We need more subs.
Yeah, we needed at least one more person. And I
We are
mean,
not young. or
speaking
anything
of defensive plays, though, this man had
enough.
a
Yeah.
one-handed interception on the goal line during the playoffs.
Yeah, Dylan with the one-handed snag,
Which-
was pretty great.
I entirely thought he just swatted it, and then I saw it snow cone in his elbow as he fell down. And I was like, "Oh, he just picked that shit. Let's go!"
It was more of like, I'm not looking, but I'm gonna stick my arm out and hope for the best.
Is that what it was?
It hit
Mostly
it
that.
perfect. It hit it perfect. I couldn't.
It's great
believe it.
instinct. It
Yeah,
was a great play, though. I mean, all around it was good.
we all had good plays. Just
I mean, that's one of the parts that I love
Unfortunate.
about hosting the tournaments is even if we're not doing so hot, you're gonna see all kinds of great football. Like you're gonna see some crazy plays. You're gonna
Oh,
see some great
yeah.
throws. You're gonna see some great.
it's a shame we didn't
Catches.
have more coverage as far as video, but we'll work on
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna work on that in the future. We got any more topics?
I'm sure we do. We're definitely coming close to the end, though. We already went the turf one. State of recent games. What does that mean?
Oh, state of recent video games.
Oh, video games.
Yeah, I probably should have added that in there. Sorry. So, I mean, you and I have talked about it a lot. It just feels like there's absolutely nothing that's enjoyable to play.
I've been trying to wonder, like, is that just because I'm getting old? Like,
Maybe it's me. Am I the problem?
I really was genuinely trying to figure this out the other day. Like, I don't seem to get the same kind of satisfaction that I used to from the games that I used to love, or at least the type of games.
I mean, I had a baby, so I took 3 months.
Yeah, you took a sabbatical.
I took a long break, and I've came back, and I'm just the same. There's still nothing that I'm just like, oh yeah, I really want to play that right now,
I
and
think
it's been that way for a while.
I think we always have, like, the desire to, one, is a social thing, just hang out
Yeah.
online, but also to compete. So if you can kind of combine those two things, it's usually just a good
Oh yeah, absolutely.
formula for us to want to play. But at the same time, like,
There's just nothing that.
what was that, Starfield, the new RPG game that
Yeah.
came out? I really wanted to get into it, but I guess because there's no lightsabers in it, I'm not hooked. Like, I feel like that's the only thing missing from that game where I'm just like, meh.
I just had like RPGs and stuff like that in the recent. Like I work a full-time job. I have 2 kids. I don't have
Yeah.
time to sit down and play a 60-hour game.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna play with my boys, hang out, shoot the shit, have a good time.
Well, and sometimes you just just dried up that well. Like Age of Empires. You know, I used to
Right.
play that style of
I
game.
mean, I get
all
it. You
the
get
time.
burnt out after.
But
a
yeah,
while.
now I'm just kind of burnt out on that style
I
of
think-
game.
Going back to the topic, most of the recent games, I'll say in the past 5-6 years, there's been so many games that have came out when they release are just garbage.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
I was
that's-
talking to Dylan earlier,
that's a whole nother
Redfall.
topic on its
We
own.
played Redfall. That game,
I remember the hype going.
yeah, it was so hyped, and then you get in the game, and the atmosphere's okay.
The action wasn't terrible.
The gunplay wasn't bad. The AI is completely
The
oblivious.
AI was terrible.
There is no story building. I have no idea what the hell we
Very
were supposed to do.
repetitive.
I just killed vampires. That's literally it.
The events just repeat the same
Yeah, it's the
event.
same event every single time. There's no other fucking people.
It's
You're
a-
in this gigantic town, and it's just you.
Structurally wise, it's like a really bad Destiny.
Yeah, like super bad. And that's what I was talking about with games as a service.
Yeah.
Like, I try and
It's the
stray
cultural
away
shift.
from those.
It's a cultural shift in video game making. I mean, they've seen how good some of these pay-to-win games can do.
Right.
And so that's the prerogative of most people. Now, people who are in it for the right reasons, when I say right, to us as consumers who want to play the game, when you're in it for the right reasons, you can make a revolutionary game and have all the credibility in the world, but you're still missing out on that profit line that these
That's
other
fair.
scumbags are
Yeah,
getting.
I see what you mean. But I mean, there's been indie games that's came out that's been good.
Yeah,
Like, you got Among Us.
the business models just can't compete.
You got Among Us.
You
We
can have,
played Among Us how many times?
yeah,
So many
you
times.
can have the best game to possibly play, but you're still just as a business model not going to be able to hold up to the game that's releasing cosmetics every week in the marketplace. And these kids have their parents'
So
credit
what you're
cards on
saying
file.
is the heart that used to go into video games is not there anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, just like anything else, money
Yeah.
corrupts it.
I mean, yeah.
The more money gets into a certain market, there's going to be side effects.
I don't think that's with all games though. Like you have games like Elden Ring. There's no.
I like Elden Ring, but I can.
I mean, I'm not big on Souls games,
I can
but there's no
appreciate Elden Ring.
DLCs. There's no
Yeah.
character customization
It's all
shit
about
you
the
have to
grind.
buy.
It's
It's
all
all
about
about
the
the game. And
But-
the game was released and it wasn't broken.
But how much did it make compared to some other crappy game that's got a live servicing thing going on?
I mean that it won Game of the Year.
Credibility.
I mean
That's not what I asked.
Okay.
How much money did it make?
I'm sure.
I don't
it
know. But all I'm
Look it
saying
up.
is we could.
Pull the numbers.
I could. I
Let's
just
take
don't know
okay.
if
Okay.
it matters.
Let's compare it against another game. Let's say Apex Legends versus Elden Ring, because Apex Legends has a lot of.
I've never dropped
In-app-
any money in
I know
Apex
you
Legends.
haven't, but a lot of people do. Jared, for example,
Jared will drop money in any game.
earnings for let's see how much they made just off Elden Ring, and then we'll look at in-app purchases for this year.
That's what I'm saying. It's the in-app purchases that I think will really get you. I don't know. Is
The
there
loot
in-app
box.
purchases in Elden Ring?
No,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a different business model.
how many copies has it
But
sold?
the community loves Elden Ring probably for that fact.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's a trade-off. I'm just saying you can't compete
Another
bottom line as far as business models go. Now,
I
obviously,
mean-
the game has to be somewhat good for it to work.
I mean,
I mean,
we have Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
which is good now.
I wouldn't know. I never went.
I
back.
went back and played
That's
it.
the
It
problem.
was good now.
That's the problem. There's people like me where if you release a crap game out the gate, I'm not gonna wait
Not-
6 months for you to get it together.
Not to diss you, but I think
Oh,
it's
he's
a
about to diss me.
but
He just said not to diss you. So he's
not to
about
diss you, but I think it's a problem with gamers is we're spoiled.
Oh, for sure.
When
But
a game comes
I'm
out, if it
self-aware
is not
as far as-
absolutely like
Oh,
I
will
can
actually
understand
say,
bugs.
I will actually say I am not that spoiled. I expect those bugs.
I'm not spoiled. You're
Not
spoiled.
no. I'm as far as video games go, we're all spoiled to a degree. But I know what you're saying.
Right.
There are people that will give a game a 2 out of 10 review because their character did a weird
Jared.
animation at one point.
Jared.
Like, I totally understand that this character's visual stuff might bug out. We're going to pan that out later. But is the core of the game good? I'll give you an 8 out of 10 instead of a 2 out of 10, where some 12-year-old's who's flipping
Yeah,
out
numbers.
because his illusion is
All
destroyed.
right, what we got?
This is Elden Ring pulled in about 152 million.
Versus...
That is not very high. That's not what I was
That's
expecting.
not as much as I thought.
That's what I'm saying.
And it won Game of the Year.
That's what I'm saying. But they'll have mad credibility for the next game they make because of that.
I mean, that's From Software. They've made so many good games. It didn't matter
Hey,
if
that's
they
what
won
I'm
Game of
saying.
the Year again.
I
Sekiro,
appreciate
Dark Souls.
I appreciate when the creativity and the lore and all of it is a priority over them making money.
Right.
I still want you to make money.
Well, another one of those that I listed as an example, Call of Duty. What?
Apex has made over 2 billion.
This
See?
year?
That's what I'm saying.
Lifetime.
Business
Lifetime?
models
God
just
damn.
cannot stack up.
I mean, I see why they do it, but it also sucks for the consumer.
Yeah, I also know I've never spent a dime on Apex Legends. It's a free game. Y'all are crazy.
Another one of those, though, is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I will say some of my favorite moments I've ever had playing Call of Duty is with you guys playing Warzone. They ruined that now. I don't want
Well-
to touch that game anymore. But
They just made so many Call of Duties. I can't keep up.
that's what I'm saying, though. Like, when you were, I mean, we were kids, but when you were younger,
It's been my whole life.
let's say Black Ops 2 comes out. Everybody was so hyped, and it was just so simple. You play the game with your
It was
friends.
very arcade style.
Right. Now it's not that. It's so complicated. There's 15 different modes. You do something, if you don't put the right attachment on, then you're just going to die every single time.
Yeah, and then the tuning of the attack.
And then unlocking the
And
attachment.
you have to
I don't hate it.
fucking unlock this attachment for this gun to
Well,
unlock that
part
attachment
I
for
hate.
that
The
gun.
That was so
progressions
dumb.
of how to unlock stuff was terrible. But
It
the
was just
tuning
awful.
of the attachments I like.
That was
only
cool, I get it.
Only because then it adds some realism to it, and it makes it to where you might have the same attachments as me, but if they're not tuned the same, you're still not quite as good.
I get that, but I miss the ability to jump in a game. We pick the same guns, and it's skill at that point.
Valid.
And so that's why I used to love quickscoping, and we've
That's
had
also-
sniper battles.
That's also not that realistic, though.
I don't give a shit about real. Am I playing Xbox for realism?
It depends.
I play Rocket League.
Yeah.
Okay.
They made a real life rocket.
Anyways, we've had quickscoping battles. That was my thing back in the day. I
Yeah.
used to love quickscoping. Now I'm not using the right sniper rifle.
That's so bad.
It's over.
Oh,
Like, I don't have the attachments tuned right, and that dude's just got whatever the hell
Well,
he's
you-
using. It's over.
You still have to be able to shoot. You
I can still shoot.
To
but the
even be
guns
able to
aren't-
figure out what an optimized tuned attachment would be, you have to be good.
I don't know. I guess I.
That's like another annoying part, though, is keeping up with whatever the fucking
I
meta
stopped.
is.
I stopped trying to keep up because I agree with that. As far as me just wanting to be able to jump in the game and play,
You can't do that anymore.
yeah, hate that part of it.
It's done
But
and over with.
I can appreciate what they're going for as far as tweaking the attachments and how effective they are in what field. Like, I like it. You're going for depth. Could have been better, probably. How, I don't know. But I don't like keeping up with the metas personally at all. I think things getting
I mean, it's
nerfed
just-
and buffed all
That's
the time.
the only thing
kind
that.
of obnoxious.
Not just that. If you don't have whatever is the meta leveled up,
You're fucked.
you're done. It's over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You get in a gunfight with that person that's been grinding 72 hours, and
Well, they've also been grinding 72 hours and are very sharp. Like, well,
I don't know.
I guess you could argue against that. But all I'm saying is their skills are sharpened.
maybe
We pick up
let
a
me
game
question
every other
this.
2 days.
Let
and
me
we're
question
like, why do we
this.
suck?
Let me question this. Is it the fact that video games are getting bad, or no? Is
Or
it
a
the
kid's
fact?
getting good.
Is it the fact that
Just in
we?
general.
Is it the fact that we miss the good video games, or is it that we miss the nostalgia of how they used to make us feel?
That. I
Yeah.
think it's that second one.
Yeah.
Because I could play KOTOR over and over and over again, but I'm still never going to recapture that
That first
nostalgia
time you
of
played.
unlocking this dialogue track for this specific character
Or getting
to make them a
gold on
Jedi
Call of Duty
or
the
something.
first time, or
Like,
your first Prestige.
Yeah, it's all just a dopamine chase, let's be honest.
I mean, fair. Well, we're about at an hour.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll cut it up, make it look real clean. Try to get my coughing out of the dang podcast. I'm sorry. I'm getting over this cough. I thought we had one other thing, but
We can. I mean,
we touched on more nerd stuff, I think. But just real quick, the last thing was NFL stuff. Week 1 bust. I didn't really like. I didn't watch too much, to be quite honest, but I saw some highlights. I know the Niners and the Cowboys look really good.
Oh yeah, they look good for sure. But you had Najee Harris come out. He looked
You were telling me
atrocious.
about that. I
He
didn't
looked
see
so
it.
bad.
I didn't put a lot of stock into the Steelers going into the season. I kind of expected that. I thought Najee would be the bright spot.
Hold on, I got one more that we can bring up. This involves the NFL. I know you have him on your fantasy team, Alexander Madison. Did you see what happened after the game?
No, I saw him fumble, and I just thanks.
They were messaging him a bunch of racial slurs and telling him he should kill himself because he lost them that game.
Just some 14-year-old idiots.
No, there was he had 50 plus messages. It was
Minnesota.
It was so much hate.
In Minnesota.
It was so bad.
Thought everybody's nice out there. What happened? Is it cold weather?
The NFL took care of it and said they don't condone it. And
Obviously, we don't condone it. It's just people being stupid. What does race have to do with losing a football game?
I mean, it's. I don't know him too much. I haven't followed him too much. But
It's just
it's not that
low-hanging
bad.
fruit. People are so lazy.
You know what? Racism.
Exactly. It's the only thing they can see on the
What do I
surface
got?
that
Race.
they could hurt someone with. So we're like, that's the card we're gonna pull today.
Yeah. I mean, just to touch on that because that just happened just the other day. So
I don't know what to say about it. Stop being dumb white people. I don't know what to tell you. You're just making it worse.
no one's better than the other person.
Yeah.
Except for me, I'm absolutely better than you.
You go try to do what Madison did. Let me know how many fantasy points you get. And I'll have a 6-pack waiting for you because I know that's all you can do. Oh. I don't like race.
How many points do I have to get? How many points do I have to get?
For prize bets, 1 yard.
Oh, I can absolutely do that.
He says now. I could just see Logan taking a hand off. He's like, oh no.
You're a big boy. Hold on, let's talk for a second. Watch out!
Halftime. How many yards do I have? -12. You're doing good.
Don't worry, coach. Put me back in. I can get it. Trust me. Don't bench me yet.
God, I'm just imagining Dominic Sue coming down the pipeline. Oh God.
I would
Stomp
put
on you
my
on the way
forehead in his chest and just hope. Hope and pray that my legs
Part
can
of the
get
knocked out club is what you'll be.
What would probably happen is you just see me slowly walk up and just sit there, just hope.
Back in the day, I would have tried to run through them, and I would have failed miserably. But I would have tried real hard. Today, I would just lay down. I might even try to dive through his legs to get that 1 yard if we had something on it,
I did it. That does not count, Jesse.
Oh, it would count. Aaron Rodgers' injury. I think that's the last thing, really, in Super Bowl predictions. Aaron Rodgers' injury is just
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, but that's the NFL, baby. They knew what they were risking with that big old contract.
And we talked about it. You think he'll be back?
I mean, he said he'll be back.
I don't think he will be.
Why wouldn't he be?
I mean,
He's got years left on his contract. Now he gets to just sit on the sideline and be an assistant coach.
he only has one
He
fucking
doesn't have any
Achilles.
years left on his fucking life.
He's basically an assistant coach for
I
all that
get it,
money. He's
but-
paid better than any other assistant coach in the
What
league.
is it? He's 40, 41, 42?
I think he's 40, going on 41.
I mean, that is...
Double check that. If I can spell. But no, he's 39.
39.
I mean,
So he's pushing 40.
He said what he planned on doing. Dude, he did his darkness retreat. He's got it all figured out.
Yeah. Ayahuasca
In
is going to
fact-
heal his Achilles.
In fact, I think he's so, beyond his younger years that it just happened. He was just like, it is what it is. Sucks. But, I didn't see him, overly emotionally fazed by it. You know what I mean?
He wasn't emotionally faced, but I just think at his age, rehabbing that kind of injury is going to take its toll on him.
They've been saying Aaron Rodgers was going to retire for the past 5 years, though.
Now he has a reason to.
He's had a reason to every year. He's old. Like,
Yeah, but now he's
Now
old
he's old
and
with a
hurt.
fucked up leg.
I mean, Achilles.
Now he's old and walks with a limp.
Obviously, the Achilles is nothing to scoff at, but the guy makes a living passing the ball.
Yeah, he's trying to pass the ball when he tore his Achilles.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, he's not. It's not a running back coming back from an Achilles injury, which they've done. But
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins did it, and you seen what happened to him.
I don't know. We can go deep into the
Tore his
Ravens.
other one.
We can go deep into the Ravens mismanagement. There's been some testimonies that came out of the Ravens lately that were not good. Players talking crap, basically.
I think
They apparently just make you play injured.
whether he comes back or not, it's heartbreaking that he went out the way he did.
Oh, absolutely. And it's heartbreaking not only for him and Garrett Wilson and that whole Jets team, but for the fans too. Like,
Yeah, they bought into this team. This was their.
look
They have a stacked team.
miraculous. Like in Hard Knocks, that's the best Hard Knocks we've had yet.
That was great. It's hilarious too.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Just
now,
entertaining all around.
Now all of us lose. I mean,
Now it's gonna be boring as hell. It's gonna be a
the
dude
only
with a
thing I
broke
can
leg all the
say
time.
is maybe somehow Zach Wilson just taps into that inner Aaron Rodgers mid-season, and they become like a wild card team. And
Yeah.
maybe they make
Sure.
a push.
Probably
maybe
not.
his rehab goes 100% amazing, and maybe he's there in
That's
the
a
playoffs.
lot of
This
fucking
is
maybes.
the most
There's
maybes.
so
I've
many
ever-
maybes, but it was probably a big maybe that Aaron Rodgers was out for the entire season, 4 snaps into the first game. So that's the NFL, baby.
Yeah,
Like,
fair enough. All right. Last topic: Super Bowl predictions. Who you got?
I hate these, but I will not say the Chiefs because I think they got too many problems to work with. Philly, I think Philly's got a good chance. I think the Niners, if they can keep
Purdy.
Brody.
Brody.
Yeah, Brody. Keep Brock Brody, healthy. They're obviously always a contender, but I think the Cowboys will find a way to mess it up.
They always do. One way or another.
They look great now. They look great week
40 to
one.
nothing.
But that
Still gonna lose
offense,
the playoff.
that offense was pretty pedestrian. I feel like there's somebody I'm missing in there. I don't want to say the Bengals. I think the Eagles is a good bet to repeat.
Eagles are
getting there.
2-0. You also, well, I wouldn't count out the Vikings yet either.
I'm going to count on the Vikings.
Bengals.
I was rooting for Kirk in that whole documentary.
Dolphins look good.
The Bengals, I feel like they captured magic in a bottle that one year, and that was their shot, their main shot. They need a new running back. I feel like there's somebody I'm forgetting.
I'm going to say... Niners, Bills.
The Bills don't look like themselves either. They haven't since like the end of last year.
I just don't think the Chiefs are going to get it done. And I don't think the Dolphins, unless they somehow pull it off, are not going to win out there.
I think the Dolphins have a good shot.
They do have a good shot, but so do the
As
Bills.
long as Tua's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu kicks in, and he can roll with those hits and something, knock himself out like I do, then yeah, I think the Miami
I'll say
Dolphins
either
are a
the
heavy favorite.
Niners,
I'm going to go Niners-Dolphins.
Dolphins, or Niners, Bills is my guess.
I'm going Dolphins. I don't know why. I just think Tyreek is on one this year.
What about you?
I haven't kept up with the NFL at all this year.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Insightful.
All right, well, I guess that's all our topics. So
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
this is Fourth and Nerd. We're broadcasting out of
Mr. B's.
Mr. B's
I
Gaming
forgot to
Lounge.
plug our boys at Mr. B's. You know, this is a great studio. Can't say enough nice things about
The people
and
and
yeah, how easy they are to deal with, and the environment they've created in this place.
yeah, so if you're in Lee County, make sure you come out and check out Mr. B's for all your gaming needs. They got pool tables, they got karaoke, any gaming system you can think of. I'm pretty sure they got set up. They got arcade machines. So just come on down, check them out. It'll definitely be worth your visit.
Nerd, or you like sports, or like us both, this is a great spot.
Definitely a
for
spot
it.
for you. All right, well, this has been Fourth and Nerd. See you next time.
Bye bye.
Penises.